Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Let us know in the chat if everyone can hear us properly, if everything is okay. I can see that people are joining. Thank you so much for joining, everybody. And thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining. It's going to be a huge first webinar for us when it comes to ADHD. So how are you? How are you doing today? Just share us something.
I'm doing well. I'm excited to hear from lots of people and to chat with all of you guys and our shared interest of ADHD and productivity.
Thank you. Steve, Lisa, what about you?
I'm doing awesome. I've seen some folks here. I'm based in Portland, Oregon, so I see a couple people popping in from Oregon. So good to see you guys, and excited to be here today.
Oh, so you are from Oregon.
Portland, Oregon.
Lisa?
Yeah, I'm really excited to be here. I'm always happy to share and to spread the word and to help whoever I can. So I'm really excited. You got a lot of people popping up here. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm expecting the same too. So before we start sharing anything, I just wanted to talk a little bit about how do you find xTiles and why do you use it now? I mean, what's the main point that makes xTiles helpful to you now? So Steve, I know you were one of the first people, coaches, ADHD coaches, who joined xTiles by yourself. So can you just share us a brief story? Why did you join xTiles? Why did you choose it? And why do you use it now? Just maybe some brief points.
Yeah, well, I've actually been a longtime Notion user, and I've used Notion for years. And the thing, and you'll hear more about my story a little bit later on, but I'm late diagnosed ADHD at age 54. And I started to do some thinking about how I wanted to structure my weeks and the kind of dashboard I wanted for myself. And that was going to be super helpful for me and, some of the systems and tools that I was learning and applying. And I just found Notion, the layout to be really just impossible to get because I'm very visual. And I wanted it all on one page, and I wanted it to be something that I could customize to myself. And I found xTiles, I think, watching some video on YouTube, and got turned on to it, and then started playing with it, and was like, wow, I can actually lay stuff out exactly how I want it. So it supports the systems I use, the focus in it, and to me, the weeks are really how we would is kind of representative of the progress we make, and the xTiles really made it easy to create something that I use every day and every week.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm sure you will share something more when it comes to your ADHD journey, your ADHD story when it comes to your presentation. But thank you so much for sharing how to use it now. Kaylee, I know that you use it a little bit for yourself when it comes to some creative stuff, except of planning. So maybe a few words about this as well.
Yeah. I actually got the idea or got inspired from somebody who had made a YouTube video using xTiles as well. And I make vision boards and mood boards a lot. So having a couple of tabs within my xTiles workspace where I can have my yearly vision board and keep track of, what I'm aiming for, but then also a monthly one. So it gives me the time to sort of set my intentions for the month, and then whilst I'm doing my productive stuff, always look back to the visuals and add pictures here and there to kind of make it more colorful. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. That helps me a lot.
That's great. By the way, I will share something like this when I will share a little bit about xTiles to our guys, to those who are watching this webinar today. Lindsay, thank you so much for joining. Nice to see you here. Say us a few words. How are you today?
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me. I apologize for being a couple minutes late here. I was actually just doing a neuro inclusion 101 presentation for a company. So I'm excited to be here and talk about xTiles. I absolutely love using it. So, and I feel honored to be with these other wonderful ADHD coaches as well. So thanks for having me, Bogdan.
Thank you. Thank you so much. By the way, I hope everything went well on your previous meeting. And guys, I think we can start. We can start something that we wanted to share today on this webinar. I think the small talks is enough. So again, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. First of all, just a few words about why we decided to make this webinar. So we use it to make webinars about xTiles updates, xTiles Q&A session, and things like that. And I'm sure there is a lot of people who attended our webinars before, but this one is very special for us. So every day, literally few hundreds of people join in xTiles, and these people have ADHD. So out of all registration, there is a huge amount of people who mention that they have ADHD. And when we speak with them, we notice very painful point for us that sometimes tool is not enough for help. Sometimes tool is not enough to make you completely productive or help you with everything. There is something else that we need to add. And this second point that we need to add is a human support. So today we decided to make this webinar. We partnered with some certified coaches that you guys see today. And we want to provide something behind the tool. We want to provide some human support that will basically help you to succeed, that will help you to strive with your ADHD journey. So what you will learn today is insights in 4 different spheres of ADHD, started from how your brain works and ending with how to be a successful entrepreneur, or how to stay a creative person, or how to regulate your emotions when you have ADHD. So there is a lot of interesting insights that you will learn today, and just brief agenda, what to expect. So now I will give the word to our coaches just to share some insight and maybe some strategies that they wanted to share. Then I will have a quick xTiles demo for those who are new here and for those who may be less advanced user. Then we're going to have some special offer that we prepared especially for ADHD minds. And of course, eventually we're going to have a Q&A session where we will cover all of your questions related to xTiles and related to ADHD. So meet our speakers, and I'm happy to present the first speakers who will share his story today. It's Steve August. Steve is an expert in ADHD when it comes to entrepreneur. So Steve, feel free to share your story. We are super excited to hear from you.
Yeah, thank you. Great to be here. Great to see all the excitement and enthusiasm in the chat. And yeah, I just want to, I'll share a little bit of my story and a little bit how some of my techniques and what I'm using xTiles for. So for me, my story is I've actually been reasonably successful as an entrepreneur. I took my first startup from idea to successful multi-million-dollar exit. I worked for the people who bought us. I became CMO of a $100 million company. And then after I was burnt out by all that, started coaching other entrepreneurs. And it's been an interesting journey. And, and from on the outside, it looks pretty successful. But on the inside, the whole time, I was constantly overwhelmed. I was, riding the roller coaster. I was, unable to focus when I wanted to. And as I got older, it started to get much worse. And I got to the point where I couldn't even, not let alone finish the email, but not even finish the first sentence in an email. And that's when I said, okay, maybe there's something more going on than just the usual living in a very distractible world. And I got my ADHD diagnosis at age 54, and all of a sudden a lot of stuff started making sense. Started learning about not just the procrastination distraction, but working memory deficits and time blindness and emotional dysregulation and all the things that come with it. And so what I realized is that it's been present the whole time. As I look back over my entrepreneurial career, I said, oh, okay, this has been in play the whole time. And so what I've sort of determined, or in my experience, and I don't think this will come as a surprise to a lot of folks, is that ADHD gives us really strong strengths and really, really interesting challenges, right? And the strengths is the brilliance, the creativity, the problem solving, the out of the box thinking. And this is the spark. This is the spark for entrepreneurship. This is how companies and businesses get started, is through that magic of like noticing everything, right? And making connections, and then having that intense interest and hyper focus and drive and impulsive decision making that just says, let's do it. What I've on the other side is that the challenges of ADHD make it harder to scale the thing and grow the thing, grow the business. Because at that, when things start to grow, you need to focus. You need to actually simplify. You need to take things away. You need make things less complicated, and it becomes more of a methodical iteration over time, and simplification, and your role gets more and more specialized. And ADHD brains don't particularly care for a lot of those things. And so the trick is, of course, is to be able to harness the strengths and support the challenges. And as I started looking over at the best representation of that, or where that started to really sink in, was how did my week go, right? Because an ADHD brain has a real hard time figuring out, thinking about time far off in the future. Like, our reward mechanisms are already a little low. So if you're thinking about a year or a month or a quarter out, it's a little bit hard to like get yourself in the right mindset and motivation. And if you just look at your days are so variable. Like, things drop into it, crisis with a client, with a family member, whatever. Your days are very variable. But if you can get your weeks lined up in the right way, then that's going to compound over time. And so what I found was that's hard, because for ADHD brains, ADHD has three things that make it a little bit challenging. Like, we have a hard time deciding and prioritizing. Like, executive function is not our strong suit. So prioritizing, deciding, actually doing, focusing and finishing, and then sustaining over time. Like, those are the three things, and that's three things every entrepreneur needs to do. And if we can do that over time, then we're going to see the benefit. If we keep starting over and over again, then we lose out on the compounding of our efforts. And so I just looked at our week, and every week started to have the same pattern of, come into the week strong. You have, Sunday, Monday, you got a great plan. Monday, you might get a little bit done, but not as much as you want. Then Tuesday's like, okay, I got to kind of rally. Then Wednesday's like, what, how is it already Wednesday? And then you're kind of picking up the pieces and figuring out how you're going to catch up over the weekend. And so I started to really play with this and say, if I can control and make my weeks and get a good blueprint for my weeks, for my unique brain, right? Because there's certain times that my executive function is really good and certain times it's not as good. Then if I can work to that in kind of a brain first way of looking at my week, then I can start making that progress. If I can get on top of my weeks, if I can decide what to do it, and then sustain that over time. And so one of the things that I sort of was honest with myself is, like, I have about 2 hours of really good executive function most days. Like, some days will be better, some days will be worse, but 2 hours is a good target. And so I started to just think, okay, what if I only had a 2-hour workday? And that started to really cement things in. So I thought, when is my best executive function hours? Well, for me, it's in the morning. Other people, it's in the evenings. It's different for everybody. And so I started using this process as, like, okay, if I only had 2 hours each day, what am I going to put in there? And then it made it a lot easier to kind of go and focus for the time. I didn't have to feel like I had to focus for the whole 8 hours. And it forced me to prioritize some things and put things in order. And I created a system for it. I call it the focus formula. And so I paired that with daily co-working sessions that I host. body doubling, it's sometimes called. I find that it is the magic bullet for showing up and actually getting stuff done, right? It's like we show up every day, 8 a.m. Pacific time is like magic. We show up, we say, how do we, what we're going to do? We set a clock for about 25 minutes and then we check in after the clock, and then we go and do it again. And it's like magic. And it helps us figure out how long things will take. And I feel if I, in my xTiles worksheet, I divide the day into my 2-hour workday and everything else. And so how I figure out if my week is good is, did I get everything to my 2-hour workday? Right? Did I just get that? Did I start the things that I meant to start, and did I defend that time, and did I show up and protect the co-working hours? And it's been great, and it's really been fascinating to see other people take this on and have success with it as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of other things to it, but those are the biggest things for me and for xTiles. If you want to go over to the next slide, I think that's where my dashboard is, so people can get a sense of what it looks like. And it's what it does is it helps me anchor so I don't get distracted by shiny objects. And yeah, my tasks might not always be checked off, but the ones that I most need to do, the ones that are most impactful, the ones that'll move my business forward, that's the things that count. Like, our brains are going to flood us with lots of to-dos, but half of it is just figuring out what's the things that's going to move us forward towards our mission and our vision, and putting those things first in our co-working hours, in our 2-hour workday. And that's where progress happens.
Steve, thank you so much for sharing. I recall when you just first time shared me about your journey a little bit, and then you mentioned this very great point that starting a business, if you are ADHD entrepreneur, is great because you are full of creative ideas. You know what to do. You have a full potential. You have capacity and things like that. But once you reach out some point, the interest just started to drop off. How do you deal with it now? I mean, after you find out about ADHD in yourself, so how do you deal with this? That you have some great interest in the beginning, and then once you reach out some peak, your interest started to go down.
Yeah, I think a big part of that is knowing that that's going to happen at some point. Like, I think the biggest switch flip for me, having gotten diagnosed with ADHD, is now learning, okay, that's going to happen. So my motto is make the important interesting, because the interesting is always going to be interesting, but interesting isn't always the important thing. So if I find myself flagging on something that's important, I find ways to gamify it. I find ways to add novelty into it. Whether it's changing locations where I'm working on it, whether it's adding I'm careful about adding new tools into the mix, but that will help me like stay interested in it. And
Got it.
yeah, so here's my dashboard. It's a little small on the screen, so I hope people can make out what it is, but I'll just give you a quick audio tour if we have time. So what I do is, and this is available for free if you guys want it. You want to try it. There's free and some training with it. There's a section for my mission and vision, because that's my magnetic north. I need something to constantly pull me forward, and I'm going to forget that without my working memory, with my working memory being low. So I always need to check in with that. I have my self-care habits because I know sleep, nutrition, meds, and exercise are key. So I track that. I have lingering decisions. Then I have my my current rocks and goals. And then I know it's a little hard to see, but you guys can I think they'll share the link.
Yeah, unfortunately, I
Yeah.
can't zoom it. I cannot zoom in it.
Yeah. And then down there with the orange is the 5 weekdays, and there if you could see, there would be one part of it. Sorry, it's so small. The 2 hour the days, instead of having my full calendar, the day it's split into 2 hour workday and everything else. And as long as I get my stuff in my 2 hour workday, then it would be then I can consider it a win.
I think it's worth to add this in the follow-up after the webinar. So I will add some screenshot from you and from other coaches how they use xTiles as well, because me particularly, I think it's very exciting, and I think it's worth for people to see it. So Steve, thank you so much for sharing this journey. Is there anything else you'd like to add, or we can switch to another one?
No, I'm happy to answer any questions people have, either now or down the road. And again, this is available. It's free if you want to give it a try. It comes with some training as well. I think we'll share the link at the end of the presentation.
Yep, Steve, thank you so much. Before we go to the next speaker, I just wanted to quickly share you something about xTiles for those who are new here again, and for those who would like to know a little bit about xTiles when it comes to managing your ADHD. So, guys, Steve, please let me know if you can see my screen now perfectly, so that I can start my small presentation as well. Can you see it now?
We can see your xTiles, but
xTiles.
like the homepage where it's got all the different things, different.
Yep, exactly. Yes, I just wanted to go briefly throughout the whole structure and explain people why xTiles is helpful for ADHD. So first of all, the structure is very simple. Again, for those who are new here, the structure is simple. You have your workspace where you have your own projects, and then a workspace where you can have some team-related stuff, some work-related stuff. Okay, and when it comes to how it looks from inside, there is something that makes xTiles unique when it comes to other productivity tools. It's like a visual layout. It's something that you can make for yourself, and something how you can make your own productivity system look like, because it's completely out to you how the colors looks like, how your cover looks like, how everything works actually. And when it comes, for example, to to making your own workbooks, there is a very simple ways of how to doing it. So first of all, when it comes to content, there is a bunch of different contents that you can use. And again, that's people think that xTiles is so helpful because it's super visual. Let's say you plan in some trip, and you can add any content you want. For example, I don't know, you can add some links that will help you to prepare to it. You can add a YouTube video to watch, just for some inspiration. Then some small trip checklist, because it's actually something which is important. The most important part, I think, at least for me, when it comes to trip planning, is some budget and things like that. And just in a few seconds, you see how much customizable xTiles is, and how many different content you can add into it and make your own productivity system. So that's what's the difference. That's what makes us special, and that's what people mention when it comes to the main values that xTiles give. And again, this is all completely customizable, because you can change the color, you can change the size, you can swap this style, you can drag and drop. So one point, it's you who are an author of your productivity system. And at the same time, if you don't want to spend your time on building something from scratch, there is a template gallery that you can find, for example, some ADHD stuff, and you can choose any template you want to not start from scratch. Again, sometimes it saves time. Sometimes it's it just give an understanding. What would you like to build today, or how would you like to build your structure? So yeah, again, thank you so much. This is just a short introduction for those who are less advanced user in xTiles, and who would like to know why is it particularly valuable for people with ADHD. So I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to share back my presentation with ADHD. So I would like to transfer the next word to Kaylee. Kaylee is a person who knows about ADHD in terms of creativity, who shared me the great story why ADHD is actually something great when it comes to creativity, and why we don't have to to feel ourselves guilty when we think that we have to ADHD. So Kaylee, please share this story about creativity and about ADHD, because it was super helpful before. So let's discover this to more people.
Cool, thank you. Nice to see everyone. So I'm from England, but I'm living in Germany. I think I saw someone from England and someone from Germany in the chat. So hi. I am an artist and art teacher, and I was diagnosed with ADHD a few years ago. And once I learned about what ADHD was and all of the symptoms, everything made sense. My whole life made sense after that. And my focus with art in the last few years has been about art therapy and learning how art and creativity can be so therapeutic, and then realizing the link with ADHD. So ADHDers are actually, there's higher levels of creative people and creative thinking within ADHD, and a lot of the sort of challenges and symptoms that can cause us trouble in maybe social situations and work. So I just got distracted by the screen because I can't.
Sorry.
I can't see the slideshow anymore, but no, it's fine. So for example, like impulsivity and risk taking, that can be something that actually helps us make more creative decisions without so much fear of, like, should I put that mark on the paper, or is that the wrong choice? And this lack of inhibition can make it less likely to have that inner critic that like silences our creative voice. And having poor memory actually, funnily enough, can help sometimes to not revert back to the memory of how you last solved that problem, but to be constantly coming up with new solutions and new ideas and new creative ways of making and viewing. And then, of course, the hyperfocus can really come in handy when we're trying to learn a craft or a new hobby or a new material or something. And for everyone, but specifically for ADHD as well, it's just so vital and important that we have a creative outlet, because if we're not releasing that in some way, that energy can become stuck and stagnant and can actually exacerbate our ADHD symptoms or turn into, depression and anxiety and stuff. So having a creative outlet, however that is through any multiple mediums, is just so important for finding balance within ourselves. And I recognize myself, the last 4 years I was teaching in an art school, and I recognized how I'd say 80% of the students were very scared to put a mark on the paper and scared to do the wrong thing, and have been kind of conditioned to think that creating is about having a good result. So that's something that I became really passionate about, and that I try to do in my coaching and in my workshops and stuff, is to teach people how to enjoy the process of creating and not focus so much on the result. And yeah, within I do traditional round ADHD challenges, but I also offer I bring in a bit of art therapy to that, and that can be in multiple ways. So some clients like to take away some creative tasks, some sort of therapeutic doodling or art therapy tasks that they do in between sessions. Some other clients have liked to do half a session of talking, and then we start a some collage together or something as a bit of body doubling. So yeah, that's sort of what I offer and how I do it. And I will share a couple of my favorite creative therapy tasks that people can try and do at home. My favorite is the 365 project. So I'm sure some people have heard of some of these already. They exist in multiple forms, but the idea is that you do something creative every day for a year, for 365 days. I have done this maybe like 15 times, and I will say I've only completed it once because it is really hard to get through 365 days. But through this, I have realized how it's such valuable routine training. So for me, with my ADHD, I was always taught to try and keep some routine and structure, and I found that very hard. But having this one thing that I did every day and giving myself some restrictions around it. So I would draw for 2 minutes a day, and I'll draw about what I'm feeling, and having a few restrictions and limits so that it made it easy for myself. I wasn't setting myself up for failure, but it then became this kind of safety and routine, that this one thing I had that I could do every day, and that after a few months I could look back and see, like, wow, even though I feel like I've done nothing every day and I'm unsuccessful at everything, I've actually got a whole book of drawings. And so it can double up as a mood diary, a feelings journal, and a way of building some small routine and habit that you can then take into other areas of your life afterwards. And for a lot of people would say, but I can't draw, or I don't know where to start, or how to do that. So a great thing is to first start by just finding lots of other artists and illustrations, or books and pictures you like, and just at first imitating and copying, and then starting imitating, copying, until eventually you find and play with your own style of it, and remembering that it's not about how it looks. It's just a thing that you're doing for yourself. It's your diary. It's your feeling release. And another thing you can do as well is to pick use a random word generator. If you really don't know where to start, there's a lot of them online. So you just pick a random word and you draw something based on that word, and you can be really surprised with what kind of stuff comes out from within you, just triggered by that random word as well. And another thing I would recommend that is really great as well for a lot of people that have come to me and said, but I'm just not a creative person, or I don't know how to draw. I always love to recommend collage. So collecting old books and magazines, or and just cutting out and gathering images. And you could do this as a daily journal as well. Just pick an image that speaks to you for some reason, stick it down in your diary, and then write what that picture means to you. And again, it's a beautiful way of just pulling out things from inside you that are triggered by different pictures and colors and imagery. And I don't want to overwhelm people with way too many ideas, but there's endless possibilities. And now I'm just distracted by the chat from Carrie that loves the random word idea. Yeah, it's a great way when you get stuck in like decision paralysis and you're like, where do I start? Looking at this blank page is too overwhelming. Yeah.
Kaylee, thank you
You're
so much.
welcome.
Thank you. I think when it comes to the rule 365 or something, I don't really know, about this, but again, let's share something to our audience after this webinar, maybe some template or something they can use, because I feel like we can do something like this in xTiles, and if you as an ADHD person and as a coach can visualize it, would be super helpful.
Yeah, totally. That sounds great.
Thank you so much for your insights. Lindsay, I would like to give you the word because again, you were so for those who don't know, because Lindsay wasn't on the presentation part when we just make an introduction about everybody. So Lindsay, again, was one of the first coaches, ADHD coaches, who supported us when it comes to, you know, this talking to people, explaining how ADHD work and why xTiles actually is helpful to ADHD. She gave so many insights about why exactly xTiles is helpful to ADHD, what problems it closes and stuff like that. So it was so insightful when we first met her. So I want to give you the word, and please share us some insights that you just shared with me when we first met.
Thank you so much, Bogdan. I'm hopefully I can live up to the hype that you just that you just made for me. So hi everybody, my name is Lindsay Bennett. I'm coming to you live from outside of Boston in the United States. I'm a former corporate, former brand. Sorry, let me back up. I've had a long day. Prior to becoming an ADHD coach and neuroinclusion consultant and advisor, I spent about 20 years in the world of corporate brand management. So I worked at really big companies like Nike and Levi's and Google and Keds. And all along the way, I felt a little bit like a square peg in a round hole in those environments. And then I was diagnosed with ADHD, and it all started to make sense for me. And so now I discovered coaching as a support for myself, and absolutely fell in love with the process of being able to support others and being a thought partner to those who like having that verbal processing, ability with others. So in addition to supporting individuals wherever they are in their neurodivergent diagnosis, I also work with parents to do some parent coaching, as well as young adults that are in transition. So think, maybe kids that might be thinking about going to college, or maybe a gap year after college, or thinking about going into the working world. I also, because I spent so much time in the corporate world, I do a lot of presenting and a lot of workshops and educating companies on how to weave neuroinclusion into their core company values. So thank you so much, Steve and Kaylee, for everything you have already shared. And I agree with everything that you've shared. And it's clear that we all have our own approach and our own systems and processes and way of thinking about things. And the biggest thing that I will share that helped me wrap my head around my diagnosis, and also how I think about my kids and their potential diagnosis. Thank you for advancing the slide, Bogdan. I like to think about the thing that I gave myself permission on is that there is no right or wrong way. It is really important for you as an ADHD individual to learn what works for your brain and what doesn't work for your brain. And I know that might sound really obvious, but we are ADHDers. Our brains are wired for interest, not importance or obligation. And the good news about today is that the world today is there's lots of information out there. There's lots of strategies out there. There is lots of social media where coaches and educators and influencers are putting lots of information out there in the world for us to think about and for us to support our own journey. It's important to take all that information and figure out how it then relates to you as a human being, right? So I guess in summary, if somebody is sharing one idea and one way of working that works for them, give it a go, give it a shot and try it and see if it works for you. But also don't get discouraged if it doesn't work for you. It doesn't mean your brain is broken. It doesn't mean that you're never going to be able to find a strategy that works for you. It just means there's something that doesn't work for you in that process. So try not to get discouraged and try to do everything you can to understand your brain. So when I work with my clients, the first thing I like to do is talk about, sharing a little bit of their understanding a bit more of their processing modalities, how they think about, processing information. Are they visual? Are they auditory? How do those things show up in different situations? Knowing those things will help you develop strategies that really work for you, as well as giving yourself permission to, learn and know that sometimes having ADHD can suck. Sometimes it's awesome, though. I saw there was a younger person in the chat. I don't remember the name, but I remember them saying they're 29. And to me, this mom in the suburbs of Boston, 29 is very young. So I saw somebody say, I'm really struggling with my ADHD. Will it ever get better? It will. I promise you. You have to find a way to embrace it. And that's the good and the not so good. Sometimes it'll be challenging. You can't ignore that stuff. But once you get to understand your brain a little bit, it will really support, it will support all of your strategies. So yeah, I guess if I were to summarize thank you, Bogdan. If I were to summarize sort of my approach, I would say, educate yourself. If you're thinking that you might have a diagnosis of ADHD or something else, educate yourself on the holistic picture of ADHD. Also think about if there are any, sorry, I have to be honest, I'm getting really distracted with the chat and I have to keep putting it away. I can't help but look at it, yet at the same time, it's really distracting me because I want to answer all of your questions right away. So I'm going to back up for a second. If I were to summarize everything that I just shared, I would say the first thing you should do if you think you have a diagnosis or you're exploring a diagnosis that you just received, take it all in, educate yourself, learn, sign up for the newsletters from Attitude, attend a couple webinars, join workshops, take it all in and learn about it. Then once you've learned about all the different ways in which ADHD can show up, then dive into your own self-awareness. What's your specific brand of ADHD? What's your specific sparkle of ADHD and how does it show up for you? That will then allow you to have a lot more self-compassion and will allow you to give yourself a bit more permission to do what you need to do to get the best out of yourself. So that's just, I guess, in summary, how I would think about ADHD and how I think about, thinking about your ADHD brain.
Lindsay, thank you so much. One point that I'm not sure if you are prepared for this, but I just got a screenshot from you and how you use xTiles. And again, he wasn't on that part when we shared, when other coaches shared how they use xTiles. Just briefly, in a few sentences, what's the main benefit you getting out of this, again, as a person with ADHD?
Yeah. So I loved seeing Steve's focus. Remind me, Steve, was it called the focus plan? I think that's what it was. It
was focus formula.
Focus formula. What I loved about Steve's focus formula is I use something similar for myself, but it's an analog version. I write it down on paper because I am somebody that likes to write things down on paper. And what I love so much about xTiles is I've got so much in my brain and it allows me to capture everything in a visual and easy to use way. So I'm not going through all my my Gmail files or my Google Docs and, trying to find links here and links there and all over the place. So the visual format of xTiles is phenomenal for me, as well as the fact that you can, and I should say the visual format of xTiles, both personally and professionally, is really helpful because I'm a mom first before I'm anything else. And I have all these things I want to do with my kids. I have all these to-dos that I want to do with my kids. I have all these projects around the house that I want to get done. And looking at both of those things, professional and personal, in my same sort of dashboard allows me to plan my life in a way that's sustainable and that's sustainable for me. So I love using xTiles as a way to capture it all and then assign due dates for myself so that I don't let things fall. That's my favorite feature about xTiles is truly, when you add a task, if you give it a date, it shows up on one running to-do list. So it helps me see all the things I have in different places in one running list. And it's really, really helpful for me. So yeah, that's just one way I use xTiles.
Thank you so much for sharing. It makes me think that it's you who should make a demo before, not me. But thank you so much. And you gave me one point that I also wanted to highlight when it comes to xTiles. Let me quickly share my screen again. And guys in the chat, please let me know if you can see it, properly, because I see some comments that the previous demo wasn't so nice to see. Let me know, Lindsay, please let me know if you can see my screen now, since you are the one. Awesome. So one point, previously I shared some simple version, not simple, but easy to use version of xTiles that's suitable for every ADHD brain and for everyone who just started to use it. But there is one more point, one more side of xTiles that we just recently launched, which made for a little bit more advanced usage, and advanced when it comes to the structure, and advanced when it comes to some automation. So I wanted to share something about my planner, because again, we make this update especially for people who are for creative people who find it difficult to stay organized and stay structured, stay motivated with what they do. Because what we notice is that when you have an some super flexible structure, and when you have to build something every time, it makes people a little bit tired of super flexible structure. So this update was specifically to add some structure and to keep you more organized, and to do some work instead of you. So how it worked, real quick. This is my planner, and why it's different from all the simple workbooks and projects that we have in xTiles, is because it's kind of semi-automated. So started from the beginning, you have your year overview, when you can just plan your goals for the whole year, and for every quarter, for example, have some simple vision board. So very, very simple stuff that you can return once per month, and to stay in focus, to understand what you're doing in your life. The next one is about some also long-term planning. This is monthly planning. So again, it's a pre-built view in every My Planner feature that allows you to just plan everything that you want to achieve this month. So you're gonna have your focus, you're gonna have your monthly goals, some maybe shopping list when it comes to some important purchasing. I mean, some then monthly reflections, some monthly budget, and things like that. So something that you also can go back and check, what do you want to achieve this month. The next point is a weekly. You know what it means. It's just having a big picture of what's going on in the next 5 or 7 days. Just having every week, and then your notes, and then your weekly priorities. This is, by the way, the most popular view among all of xTiles users. And the last point is about daily view. This is for those who wants to go deeper, to plan every day, to know what's tasks for today, maybe what's important links, what's your reflection, what's project you're working on, and things like that. So this is an update that allows you to plan from the beginning to the end the whole year, and stay updated in any period of time that you have in your life. The next point is having a calendar connected into your xTiles, because again, we want this My Planner feature to be one place, one central hub from which you can plan your week, see what's going on in terms of your meetings and tasks, because we also collect all of your tasks here in one collection, let's say. So from all of the projects that you have in your xTiles account, like what do you need to do, what is postponed, what is the due date, and stuff like that. So we have it all in one view as well. And there is some different views for different people, again, because for somebody it's cool to see it like this in a table. For somebody else, it's nice to see it in a Kanban style, and for example, to clearly understand what do you need to do first, what you need to decide, what you need to delegate, and stuff like that. And the last but not least, what I wanted to share is about projects, because when he became an advanced user of xTiles, there's a ton of projects, literally hundreds of projects that you might have in your xTiles account. And there can be an also central place with a quick access to every project. So let's say you are planning some trip, and what you're gonna do next is you have your overview of this trip right here. You remember we built it before. And then again, if you have some ideas that you want to do, and if you have some tasks that you would like to add, there is a simple way to do it, to add a task, to assign it. And what's gonna happen next? You will eventually see it in your daily planner or in your weekly planner view, just like this, because all these tasks are interconnected between each other. And if you create a task in any of your projects, you will see it here in one place. And that's what adds a little bit of magic in xTiles, because you work and you plan as you use it to. But when you plan it in any other projects, in any other workbooks, all tasks, all projects, and all events are here in central place in my planner. So that's all what I wanted to share when it comes to xTiles today. I'm going back to share my presentation, and I will now let the word to the last speaker, who is Lisa. I hope it was okay. Let me know some comments, guys, if the demo was fine and visible. Just a few words, because it was a complete silence for me. Okay, I can see the sign, so let's move forward. So, Lisa, now it's your turn. Lisa amazed me first time when we met. Again, interesting story. When we first met, Lisa said Lisa was just on usual meetings, and she was like, "Oh, you have interesting background." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm changing my background constantly because I like to play with what's going on behind me." And that's how she was one of the first person that make me think that I also have ADHD. We are in Ukraine, and ADHD is not well knowledge topic here. But after I spoke with a lot of coaches, and after this particular meeting with Lisa, I was like, okay. She said that sometimes some thoughts playing in her head. She's notices that I'm changing my background, and she did it too. And I'm like, okay, maybe I have to think about it more, and maybe attend some webinars and learn about this. So just a short introduction for Lisa. Lisa, now it's your turn. Please go ahead and share something interesting about ADHD.
Yeah, thank you, Bogdan. So I love that you had not shared that with me. So I just am so passionate about ADHD. I wasn't diagnosed till I was 52 in 2021. I had 2 kids that are diagnosed with ADHD. I had thought about whether or not I had ADHD. The reason that I didn't clue in on it sooner was because I was just Googling ADHD, not women with ADHD. So women with ADHD can look very, very different than men or boys, right? Girls, boys, than women. And so once I got the diagnosis, just my whole perspective changed, right? Then I am looking at everything through an ADHD lens. And it's so cool because, as obviously, right, all us coaches have our ADHD, right? So one of the beautiful things about ADHD is that we see everything all at one time, which does lead to overwhelm, right? Does lead to us not being able to maybe prioritize, but it allows us to have things just click in place that people that have a more typical brain, they just don't see those things, which can be infuriating because it seems like everybody should be able to see these things, right? They seem common sense. So what I wanted to talk about specifically today was essentially the emotional dysregulation, right? So this, a lot of people think, oh, ADHD, squirrel, we're distracted, right? Talking about getting distracted by the chat. I am right there with you. The chat, somebody asked right off the top, asked if I smiled. I do, but maybe not when I'm I'm trying to force myself to focus on what I need to do. I was like, I have noticed the more of these that I do, I look really serious most of the time. And it's just that I'm so in my head. And literally, if I have to think about smiling, then I'm thrown off, right? But if that was the main challenge, it's still challenging, but you throw in the emotional dysregulation, and that is what is just brutal. And the really difficult part about it is it's almost like, in a way, when you're talking about like a psychiatrist or something, right? They don't even look at that to diagnose you. And it is, at least for me, it's been the most detrimental part of ADHD as I look back once I got diagnosed. Like it influenced every decision I made at like everything. And I was diagnosed when I was completely fried, just completely burned out. Oh, and by the way, for women, ADHD peaks in menopause because it is directly tied to your estrogen. Your estrogen drops, you're hosed. Like it's it's going to be really bad. But I saw a lot of women talking about, right? I want to have kids, but like it seems so overwhelming, right? You know what? You're already so far ahead of the game because you're aware that you have this. And self-awareness is a big challenge for us, but just the fact that you're aware is huge. I have 4 kids. The youngest is 18. Had no clue I had ADHD the whole time. So I look back and I will be, to be completely honest, that is like my big thing and authentic. I didn't have any chance of feeling successful as a mother. So it's challenging, but if you have the self-awareness that you need to, I think what you can really pull from a lot of, hopefully the big picture, right, of what the previous coaches said, is that it's about your environment. It's about your own unique brain. We all share a lot of things in common, even when you find other ADHDers. But then there's these weird paradoxes, right? Because there's so many other things that come into play. So just remember that it's unique to you, and that's okay. I think I can't remember if it was Lindsay maybe said something earlier. It's going to be unique to you, and it's okay. So for me, once I got my diagnosis, I was like, oh, I don't know why, but that freed me to stop trying to do it like everybody else, to stop trying to fit in the boxes. Because I don't fit in boxes. I've never fit in a box, but I always felt bad because I didn't. So, but quickly about the rejection sensitive dysphoria, a lot of people with ADHD aren't necessarily familiar with this. Essentially, it's a neurobiological issue. So any real or perceived rejection can cause just either an intense, like you fall into like a black hole, like just instantaneously, or also enraged, right? Just so angry. And it's just like, it's instantaneous. And it's a nervous system response. Essentially it's like you have a broken smoke or overly sensitive smoke detector, right, in your house, and steam out of the shower sets off all the alarms, right? So, and it can be really hard because in general, we feel everything so deeply that we then when it gets taken up a notch, then it's completely overwhelming. The first thing is awareness, right? Like I didn't even know what it was. Maybe 6 months after I got diagnosed, I saw it in a book. And I thought, oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, these are those times where you're just, a couple hours after, you're like, where did that come from? Like, what? Wow, that was like really super intense, right? It could be because somebody just responded to a text and said K or sure, right? And you don't know what's on the other end, right? Or your spouse is angry at you. And for whatever reason, your brain thinks that they don't love you anymore. It's awful. And here's the thing. Emotional pain and physical pain are processed in the exact same way in your brain. Same place in your brain, they're processed the same. So your brain pain is designed to that you need protection. So what happens is the RSD gets triggered, your brain can just shut you down, right? It won't let you proceed, it won't let you communicate because you'd rather deal with this than the possibility that whatever crazy negative stuff you're thinking is true. So it can lead to some of the ADHD paralysis as well. But right, self-awareness is the most important thing. So there are things that you can do. Like one of the biggest things initially is as soon as you feel it, and you feel it's physical. So for myself, it's like being on a roller coaster almost, right? Like you drop, like a big drop. It just hits you right in your chest, and that's your nervous system. I would say that for me, if anyone's experienced pretty deep grief, like losing a parent or a child or a spouse or something, it's very similar to that. But it's about going, okay, wow, that's intense. What is happening? Why am I having that reaction? Oh, when he said that, I felt like that he was being dismissive, or I felt like I was being invalidated, because I guarantee you there's something under the anger and the super sadness. There's something that came before, we just don't see it because it happens so fast. that can, diffuse it a little bit, give you a second just to kind of step back and be curious about it, right? Just kind of ask yourself what's happening in this situation. It can help to regulate your body. Essentially, you're trying to regulate your nervous system. Take a short walk, depending on circumstances. Deep breathing can help. Sometimes deep breathing's hard because honestly, like the deep breathing exercises, they're like, okay, in for 4, out for 5, whatever. I'm trying to count in my head and relax and focus on breathing. My brain is not real conducive to that. I got to be honest. Like I get all caught up in the numbers. But one of my favorite things is to step outside for sunlight or fresh air. Did you know that even looking outside creates hope? So even if you can only look outside to see like a tree or something like that, that can create hope, which is huge. The ADHD brain is like Velcro for negativity. Like we go immediately to the negative. So as soon as so as coaches, that's what we're trying to do usually, is we're trying to just shift you, right? Just a little bit to get a more positive outlook. Let me see here. Oh, the other thing is it's great to find your people, right? I think that I know for myself, when I was diagnosed and started to understand it, all of a sudden I'm looking at my very, very close friends, right? And family and going, oh, you have ADHD and you have ADHD and you have ADHD. So neurodivergence attracts neurodivergence. Recognize that those are your safe people, right? They can relate to what you're going through. And a lot of times that's what you need, right? You just need to feel seen. And the big thing is like up here, right? Like, so you're not broken. We're not broken. This is how we're designed. And that's okay. No, we can't prioritize in our head, but that's okay. Like our strengths that we have, the things that we're really good at, we are really good at. Most people with ADHD are brilliant. What drags us down is the world telling us, oh, you're weak over here. You need to focus on this. If I focus on my weakness, I don't have anything left for my strength. So I loved how I wrote that down, how Steve said that 2-hour workday. I'm like, ooh, that's really good. I'm always looking for ways to where it makes sense to my brain and it clicks. And that's what everybody's going to find is you just have to get that one thing that clicks, right? Or that leads you to something that clicks. Always self-compassion over self-correction. Work with your brain, which I think a few people say. The more you work against it, the more you resist it, the harder it's going to be. And I think Lindsay said something about, somebody saying, is it always going to be this bad? No, it ebbs and flows, right? It ebbs and flows. But it will sneak up and kick your butt sometimes, right? And it's about having these kinds of tools, right? So you can think about your emotions kind of like the weather. It's unpredictable, right? I mean, we can't predict the weather either. Like I feel like they've just gotten worse at that over my lifetime. Even with all the technology, they're still not good at predicting the weather. Just be prepared, right? Make sure you have an umbrella or a raincoat or, boots or whatever. So that's how you can build a toolbox for yourself for ADHD and your unique struggles and strengths. And that's why I think it's so awesome. I think Bogdan did such a good job of the variety of coaches he brought together. It is perfect. Like we're all very different. We share the same foundations, but our passions, and then you can really see how we've come to understand how important it is to live in our passion. Everything that you do in your life has to align with who you are. I think that's true for everybody. But if you're ADHD, you'll never be content. You'll never be happy. You'll be just dysregulated all the time. If you're doing anything that's outside, that doesn't align with who you are, what your top strengths are. So I think that this has been fantastic. I love all the comments. That some of them had really made me laugh. Some of the stuff directed at Bogdan, I don't know if anybody saw it, but I love the ADHD sense of humor, how we just give each other a hard time and just all of that. I think it's fantastic. So thank you, Bogdan. I really appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much. It was so great insight. And for me, it was the most emotional one because I feel everything what you say, and I feel that it's so close. And maybe once again, I'm assuring myself that maybe I have to think about ADHD a little bit more and maybe pay a little bit more attention.
Well, if you want to know yourself, right? Like that's the thing. That's the trick.
Yeah, I appreciate all the people who wants to learn themselves, because that's how they grow and that's how they became better. Okay, thank you again, guys. Thank you so much for sharing all of this stuff. Before we move to the Q&A session, I just receiving so many questions here, and we have a list of questions that we will answer, as guys, today with you. Some of them I will cover because it's related to xTiles, and some of them I will ask somebody of you to cover because they are specifically related to ADHD. But before we move forward, there is so we've been thinking together at xTiles how to make a resume of of such a variety speech. I mean, there is 4 different coaches of different spheres, of different experience and understanding of what is ADHD. And we wanted this session to give some value to people, and we've been trying to make some resumes out of this. So there is a 4 points that I would like people to keep in their mind when it comes to when you will leave this webinar and think about something. So the first of all, it's about the main point for us was that everyone has to identify your own challenge, because ADHD is so unique. ADHD brain is so unique and works in their specific way. So you have to identify something that challenges you the most in order to deal with it and become better. The second one is about formulating your unique strategy of how you will strive with ADHD, how you will ADHD actually, because it's also the very important point. If you understand that you have something, you have to build a proper way how you will live with it. As Steve shared it, as Lindsay shared it, like after as all of you share it, after you've been diagnosed with ADHD, it took some time for you to understand how you're gonna deal with it. So the next point I wanted to share is about adapting a system that works for you. And it's specifically about some tools, or even if you use a paper notebook or anything like this, it should work together with your brain, not against it. And again, since ADHD brains are so unique, there should be a system which is super flexible and super customizable that will exactly suits how your brain works, not vice versa. And the last one is about building habits, because once you understand what's your challenge, once you formulated your unique strategy, how we're going to do this, how we're going to strive with ADHD, after you find the system, you need to build the habits. Because if there is a problem with some self-discipline, there should be habits, and you have to you have to build some habits in order to deal with ADHD. If there is some procrastination, or if there is some motivation, you have to understand your problem, understand how to deal with it, adapt something that will help you to stay accountable and build this habit. And eventually, this is something that will bring you from point A to point B, from just being aware about ADHD to the person who knows that he or she has ADHD and it's strive with it. And after that, we decided to, again, go deeper and prepare something specific to you, because we feel that if there is a only tool or only coaching or only some human support, it's not enough. There should be some complex solutions that will help you to understand, find a solution, build the habits, and then strive. So we decided to make some specific bundle which consists of a coaching session with one of the coaches that were together with us on this webinar, and xTiles Plus plan, and also some ADHD templates that we built for ADHD people. So we wanted to give this as an short term offer. We are not offering it to everybody, to every user at xTiles, because we want to give this feeling of value. We want to understand how you will use it, how you will benefit out of this. We want to get your feedback, and then maybe one day we will implement something like this specifically for ADHD users. So there is an offer which is coaching session with one of the guys who were together with us today, and xTiles Plus plan. ADHD templates are also available in this bundle. And how to get use of this? You can just scan QR code, or you're gonna have a link pinned in the YouTube chat. And then once you get the bundle, you will book a session with one of these coaches. And then they will help you to build some strategy to find your challenges, to understand how you need to deal with it, then to understand, what will be the strategy and how you can customize maybe xTiles or set up something that will work specifically for your brain. Because again, having just a tool is not enough. There should be something specific, some human support from somebody who know what is ADHD, who is a coach themselves, and who understand how to deal with all this stuff. So that's what we wanted to do for you guys today after this webinar. There is a special offer. I will leave this slide here so everybody can scan QR code and go check out a little bit more about this planner, about this bundle. And now I think that's all. We are ready to move to finally to some questions, because there is some fantastic questions that we have in our chat, and I think we have to start answering on them. Guys, are you still with me? Are you ready?
Yep.
Yep. Fire away.
Awesome. I have a list of questions from guys who moderate the chat. And the first one that I would like to ask is for Steve. And somebody is asking, so how do I gauge whether my week was good? I think this is something specifically about weekly reflection and things like that. Can you elaborate a little bit about this?
Yeah, the way I judge if my week is good, I plan that it's going to go sideways. So I know I'm probably not going to reach the absolute perfection of my weekly, my Monday vision. But to me, it's like, did I show up? Did I work on the most important things? I probably have no clue how long those most important things are going to take me. So it's not a matter of necessarily completion, but of progress. And did I actually protect my 2-hour workday and work on the things that I most wanted to work on, that I felt was most impactful for my business? That to me is a successful week.
Okay, got it. I was just deep in another question. Thank you for answering this. Somebody's asking, it's a fresh questions. When does the offer expires? It expires in Sunday, May 1st. So this Sunday, in 5 days, this offer will expire. What else? Guys, if you have some chat questions, feel free to answer them. I'm just picking the most popular, first of all, and then I will ask. We will answer all other related to ADHD and related to xTiles. So, is there anything else? Good question about, by the way. So, do you know how to balance between ADHD and autism? Is there anybody who can answer this?
Mm.
Maybe Lisa?
I mean, I would love to have like this magic answer, right? I mean, like they push and pull with each other. So I've become more and more familiar with ASD, the autism spectrum. I would say really it's a matter of doing the research. Like I think Ogden, somebody talked about earlier, right? On the ADHD, on the autism, what it looks like. I will tell you that I think it's Dr. Barkley recently, I think just last year, the year before, they did research. He mentioned research that they have found that people that have an autism diagnosis, that up to 70% of them are also ADHD. So I think that you'll see more and more information coming out there. But I mean, it's similar. It is about, knowing yourself and getting to understand who you are. I would imagine there are coaches that can work with you. I'm always open to working with anybody. It's usually a matter of having an initial conversation, is because the most important thing as a coach is that we have a connection, right? That it makes sense that we meet and that we're able to guide you. I always look at myself kind of more like a guide in that process, because for a lot of people with late diagnosis, the first part of it is education, right? Is understanding themselves. And then you can get to the tools you need. Like a lot of people that I just end up with a lot of clients that they just got diagnosed, or some that were diagnosed as children, but it was never handled right. I mean, even today, women are diagnosed, they still don't, they still miss girls getting diagnosed. So there's still a lot of misinformation out there. But to answer the question, that it is a tough one. It's a big challenge. But I'm sure that there's some support out there. I do wish I had like a one-liner.
Thank you. Thank you so much for answering. There is one more interesting question related to ADHD is actually how to know when it's an ADHD or whether everyone experiences something different. So basically the question is how to differentiate if you have ADHD or if you just, feel lack of motivation or maybe some distraction or your brain works a little bit slower or just in a different way.
So if you have an ADHD brain and you know you have an ADHD brain, so I don't, that's the expectations of the world that are coming in on you. Okay. So if you have an ADHD brain, it's ADHD. That's how I view it. There's an explanation, right? So now if you're saying, oh, I don't know if I have ADHD, right? So are the challenges ADHD or am I just neurotypical? I'm not speaking to that. But if you know that you have ADHD, and it doesn't have to be a diagnosis, but if you're confident for you that you have ADHD, the default is, okay, it's an ADHD challenge. How can I create something externally, right, to help myself? That would be my advice for that. There's not, I would just say it because it's your brain, it's neurological. So I don't know if Steve's got anything to say about that or Kaylee.
Yeah, I thought he wanted to answer something as well.
I would only, I think what Lisa said was great, and it's difficult to come up with one answer because even ADHD itself presents differently in every single person. But I'd say everybody loses their keys sometimes, everybody is unmotivated sometimes, but if you're experiencing these symptoms regularly or daily, or to the point where they are regularly affecting your life, having an impact that on work, on your social life, I think that's sort of one way to start to question seeking an ADHD diagnosis. Are these things that I'm experiencing a lot on a regular basis or that are significantly impacting my life?
Got it. Before we answer the next ADHD questions, there is a popular question in the chat from those who already have some monthly or starter plan or plus plan. What's gonna happen with my plus plan once I get use of this bundle? So the logic is simple. If you already have monthly or starter plan, it will just upgrade you. So if you buy this bundle, we will just upgrade your plan to the xTiles Plus plan. If you already have a plus annual plan at xTiles, you will get this coaching session and just write us in a live chat or in a support to get an extension for the second year of the plus plan. So that's how it's gonna work. If there is more questions about this, just add them in the chat and we will answer them. And the next question is about ADHD. Lisa, I put it in our chat. Please read the question and try to answer it. I know you're going to have this answer.
Yeah, so just asking for a comment on depression/anxiety versus ADHD in terms of procrastination. An inability to get started, right, is blamed on depression. So these are, one of the big things I wanted to say was these are intertwined, right? So here's the thing, depression and anxiety are driven by ADHD. So you have them typically have them in combination. It's not going to be just the depression. It could be, but a lot of times it's just this ADHD brain that's driving it all, right? And putting us into this inability to move forward. Even perfectionism could cause you to procrastinate because you don't have the exact right setup, right? That oh, this has to happen, this has to. So now my brain is like, oh, I can't do anything. It's just this vicious cycle. A lot of people that go to adults that try to go and get diagnosed, or women that have suffered with depression and anxiety their whole lives, right? All different kinds of depression, anxiety medications just don't work. Well, then we realize, oh, it's ADHD. Get that under control, whatever that looks like, right? Whether it's medication or not, whatever it looks like. Then let's look at the depression and anxiety if that's still there. So they're really intertwined. The ADHD, though, is the foundation of all of it. So my recommendation would be like to approach it from the perspective that it's let's look at some scaffolding, right? Or some skills that'll work for you. And then I think maybe Steve might want to add. Do you got something to add, Steve?
Yeah, I've got, I think that Lisa's advice is spot on. And I read, I forget where I heard this. It might have been Dr. K on YouTube or wherever, but he said they cited a study where people with ADHD were, I don't know, 100x more, like a crazy amount more likely to suffer from depression versus somebody who was depression. If they could identify it was depression first, then it would be ADHD. And I think the big thing with ADHD, from my perspective, and when I talk to people, is that it robs us of trust in ourselves. Like we can't trust ourselves to do the things that we want to do, that we say we're going to do, that we know we're actually capable of on a kind of personal brilliance level. And as Lisa was saying, the first thing is to really, understand your brain and what you're working with, because it's really hard when it's just happening to you and you don't have that visibility into, oh, okay, I'm going to emotionally dysregulate here. Or I'm at the end of a day and my wife will ask me what, 2 dinner choices, and my brain will throw a complete tantrum. Not because my wife is doing anything wrong. It's just because my brain's had it. It's like I've made a million decisions today, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And before, I just thought I was a jerk, right? I just thought I was a bad person for, getting wound up about something that my wife was generally like going to feed me. Like you couldn't ask for a more nurturing, literally nurturing activity than that. And then as I started to understand that, it was like, oh, okay, my brain just is saying, now we can't make a decision right now. Then I can breathe, talk that out. But it's the understanding, and that starts to restore the trust. Because if you know yourself, you can trust yourself better.
Thank you. One more question, Kaylee. This one is for you. How do you train your memory with ADHD?
Yeah, very good question. That's a challenge. There's various different ways this, and okay, so on a so, I can't think of the word. I was going to say psychological, but I mean physiological level. We don't underestimate things like, have I had enough sleep? Caffeine, alcohol, nutrition, all of these things can have such a huge effect. I never really respected sleep for many years until the last few years of my life, where I've started to recognize, significantly, if I've not had enough sleep, my brain, my memory is just non-existent. Also having sort of patterns and habits. So one thing I have trained over the years is, like, when I come home, my keys always hang by the door in a certain place. My medication is always like on a table where I can visually see it. My all of my different belongings go in a certain pocket or go in a certain place, so that it gives me a chance to build up those things into becoming habits that I don't have to think about and use extra energy on. It becomes muscle memory. And then things like I talked about earlier with the daily drawing task, the 365 project, also daily journaling with what was my favorite moment of the day, or what were 3 things I was grateful for today. Just small daily repetitive tasks that can build up those, that memory into habit. And the things like sleep and nutrition and stuff like that is just giving your brain more space, allowing it to become more calm, to be able to remember things more. And of course, meditation as well. I know that can be really hard for ADHDers to sit there and try to meditate and try to be good, but even 2 minutes a day as a start of just watching your breath, or listening to guided meditations on YouTube, that can be more helpful, so that you're not just sitting there in silence trying to do something, but your brain has that chance to get into the habit and just has those 2, 5, 10 minutes. You can increase it as time goes on to like relax and create more space.
Thank you. Thank you. Before we answer the next ADHD question, I think we might have one or two of them. Just a quick comments, because I saw some questions regarding to privacy at xTiles, and I want to cover these questions. So when it comes to privacy and how we secure your information, the first of all, we are SOC 2 certified, so we are actually taking care a lot of the privacy of our of the data of our users. We also encrypt our data, so it's not gonna go anywhere, let's say. But when it comes to this privacy policy, we will just include the answer on this to the follow-ups, because I understand that usually people ask this when they need some exact answers and exact proofs how we taking care about the privacy. So we will cover this question in our follow-up as well after this webinar, just for those who need maybe these privacy concerns on work, or sometimes in some educational organizations. That's usually when this from where these questions came up. And also the next one is about how to add a new tabs in your planner. Let me quickly share my screen again, and I will share it to you. Lisa, please let me know if you can see my screen. Lisa or Steve, somebody?
Yeah, you're good.
Somebody
I can see it.
Okay. Yeah. So sharing the screen. If you are unable to share your screen, you are probably if you are unable to add more tabs, more pages in your planner, you are probably on a free version of xTiles. But if you are on a plus plan or on a starter, that's how you're gonna do this. So you're just gonna press plus, and just add a new creative page for your ideas, let's say. Also, there was a question on how can I find my planner. So my planner feature released it in the top upper corner. You can find it right here. So anytime from any projects that you have. So let's say you are in other projects related to work or related to anything else. There is a button here from which you can always access my planner and just keep planning here from any projects that you're working on. That's all from me. I'm coming back to share the presentation. And the next question about ADHD was Lisa, can you please comment it? Is about, I'm pretty sure my mother has ADHD too. So it's about how to approach other people softly and gently suggest to go and check whether somebody have ADHD. I think it's about some stigma related to ADHD. So can somebody uncover this?
It kind of is generational, right? That has a lot to do with it. There's stigma. There's so much ignorance out there about what it is. I mean, I would say with anybody in the situation, the more questions you can ask somebody, right? Open-ended questions, or, telling relatable stories, maybe, to where maybe they'll start to see, the connection. But the harder, that we push, even a little bit, because here's the thing, okay, that I don't think anybody mentioned today, but never tell an ADHDer what to do or what to think or anything, because immediately you're done. It doesn't matter if you're planning on doing that. You're done. Your brain is not going to let you do it. So the same thing, right? If you have a pretty strong suspicion that somebody's ADHD, I have said to people that it's harder actually with people closer to us, I think. I have said to basically complete strangers, are you ready to accept that you have ADHD? Because it's so obvious to me. And they laughed and said, oh yeah, I know I have it. So, but yeah, it's just, I would say just try to be curious, right? Ask them questions about things. Take opportunities when you see them, share, maybe even sometimes sharing things that have helped you in certain situations so you can help them. It is indirect, but yeah, that's a really tough one. And especially, older generations or still older generations, but even, even spouses sometimes, right? That you're like, I'm pretty sure there's something going on there, but you're thinking, well, they're never going to go, they're never going to go get diagnosed. So it's just about a conversation. There's never one like answer for ADHD related things. There's never one simple answer.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. One question that I saw in a chat just recently, it's related to your coaching session with all of you guys. It is related to can this coaching session be specifically about customizing your xTiles to work with your specific ADHD? And I think all of you guys can do something like this, but is there any particular answers? Maybe Steve can answer this.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's as if you're reaching out or on my coaching side, you probably have a business, so we'll be talking about that, and we can talk about if you're working with my template, and I'm certainly happy to support with what I know about xTiles. But for me, the big thing is, do you walk away from that session having a good sense of focus about what your next step is?
I think we have to get this answer from the person who asked this. But yes, guys, what? Before we partner it with coaches, we also think it about making this plan for guys who are getting xTiles Plus for the year of the personal onboarding. And we have some people, me myself, I assume that I have ADHD, other teammates who have ADHD and who understand xTiles well. I think we can help you with this as well. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you don't have to book some session with one of the coaches, but you also will have an opportunity to talk somebody from our team to have a specific setup at xTiles, because coaching is about understanding your challenges, is about understanding what do you want to work on in order to strive with ADHD. But setting up xTiles, I think it's might be a little bit different. Coaches can help you with this, but again, if you need some advanced help, 1 hour of session, just let us know, and I think somebody of our team will be able to help you. I hope we answered that question. Guys, do you see any new questions at xTiles? I see some comments that some timers and Pomodoro timers that are built in our templates are really helpful for ADHD, and this is great to hear. Is there any way to add things like emails to xTiles without opening xTiles? This is actually a great question. Correct me if I didn't understand it right, but you're asking whether you can send some emails or some messages from your from other places into xTiles, and we actually are working on the integration like this, where you will be able to add where you actually will be able to send some links to xTiles, some emails to xTiles, maybe some messages from Telegram, from WhatsApp into xTiles. And when it comes to email, it actually we took it in another level. So we are analyzing the whole thread of email, and we are getting the summary of this thread into xTiles. This is very, very alpha feature, but if somebody wants to test it out, just let us know, and we will add you to the waiting list for this feature. But answering your questions, we are working on this, and I assume very soon it will be available for beta and then for everybody else. There is one more questions, guys. Now I will a little bit answer questions related to xTiles, because there is so much about this in our chat. So the next question is, when we start with a new template, how do we link it to our personal planner? Let me quickly show it to you. Somebody let me know if you can see my screen again.
You're good.
I'm good. Thank you, Lisa. So let's say you created your trip again. This is gonna be Alaska trip, right? And if you wanted to add it into your planner, the simplest way of doing it is just copy it to another workbook, and then you're gonna choose something that you want. But this point will not work if you want to copy it in your planner. The simplest way of doing it is just copy it to a clipboard, go back to my planner, add one page, or just simply paste a page. And then we will offer you, either you want to make a full copy, which means you will copy the whole project, the whole another project into my planner, or you want to add it just as a linked page. The difference between the full copy, you just copy in your content and you have two different projects, but they are not connected between each other. And the second option, which is linked page, it's the more interested one. It's when you are linking this page, and you can work on this with this page right from your planner. So again, you can add some changes. You can, I don't know, do whatever you want basically with it. And then if you will go back to this planner, you will see all this to the project itself. You will see that changes in the planner itself. So you now link these two pages between different projects. And if you can work from my planner, from this location, but changes will appear in that project as well. I hope I answered your question. Let me check another one. By the way, guys, coaches, if you see another ADHD related questions in our chat, just interrupt me and answer them, because the answering ADHD related questions is our main priority for today. Can we embed entire workbooks into a page? No. So as of now, you cannot. I also saw some questions related to whether we can share my planner, whether we can embed it in another projects and stuff like that. First of all, so far you are unable to share your personal planner because it's a private one. We are working on ways on how you can work with different people. On my planner. But so far, it's there is no way to share my planner. You can share any workbooks. You can share all projects. You can even add people into your workspace, like invite members and work together on a mutual projects. But so far, there is no way to share my planner. The second one is whether you can embed tabs or copy some tabs from my planner to another project. And the answer is no, simply because my planner is a unique module of xTiles. It's quite consistent, and the structure is predefined. So every my planner will have my week, calendar, tasks, and projects, and it's a united structure, united module at xTiles that you cannot embed in any other places. So the philosophy behind of it is that you have ton of your projects, but at the same time, as soon as you want to go back to your central place for all tasks, there is my planner where you see all your planning stuff, or all your tasks, or all your events and things like that. I hope I answered this question too. If there are tasks with no deadline or due date, can we copy and paste the previous day to the current day? Let me read it once again. Okay, let me explain you how tasks work at xTiles. So we have a 5 days in the My Planner, which predefines a due date for every task. So if you put the tasks on Monday, let's say again we have some task number 1. If you then go to the task panel, you will always find this task 1, and the deadline will be exactly this day, the same day as you put it here. So you know what I mean. If you put it, for example, for Thursday, it will go to April, to my 1st, right? So it depends. When you put some tasks in different tiles, it predefines what deadlines will be set up for these specific tiles, and vice versa. So for example, you're gonna have my tasks, right? My tasks tab, and you want to create a new one, which is a webinar. And if I will add a due date for Friday, let's say, at any project, again, at any project, at any page, at any sub project, any place at xTiles where you create a task and add a time to it, this deadline will appear right here. So if you edit a webinar at another project and you know you have to work on it, it will then appear in your My Planner. So that's how tasks work, and that's a little automation that works here. Again, you add in a task, you add in a deadline, and it moves from one day to another without your need to moderate it. Guys, any ADHD questions here? No more questions. Oh, I see that Steve left us. That's fine. Sorry, I didn't see it. Lisa, Kaylee, I know that I'm already taking more that you promised it. So if you need to go, and we can do this politely, so you can leave. It's not a problem. I'll try to manage all these questions myself. If I will see that there is too many questions related to ADHD or xTiles, I will think about maybe make some quick Q&A session somewhere next week, or maybe answer all of them in a follow-up. But we will handle this, no worries. But if you need to go today, just let me know, and
Okay.
yeah, you can leave. It's completely
Thank
fine.
you, Bogdan. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so
Bye,
much for
Kaylee.
being here. Lisa, have a nice
Thanks.
evening. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you too. I have to go as well, but it's been really fun hearing everyone's questions and yeah, chatting with everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Kaylee. No worries. I will handle it, and I will follow up with you later. Thank you so much.
Really quick, Bogdan. So somebody posted again about the concentration and procrastination. Is there a way to be sure it's based on ADHD? So they might not have heard us talking about that earlier. So I think Kaylee and I both kind of addressed. Kaylee kind of addressed if you're not diagnosed and you're thinking about maybe you need to be diagnosed. But if you're diagnosed with ADHD, it's the ADHD. Like there's not a, we're just so programmed, depending on how late you got diagnosed. That's my opinion, at least, that to go, oh, maybe it's just being lazy. What I would put out to you is, what does being lazy mean? Like when I started to think about that, I feel like that's like unhelpful, honestly, to say to anybody, because like there's always something behind it. But it's going to be the ADHD that is absolutely going to be interfering with you trying to be motivated and things like that. So just one more time for everybody. So maybe anybody that missed it, because I noticed that I think it got put in there 2 more times since we talked about it.
Thank you so much for covering this. Yeah, guys, I'm not going to spend your time anymore. Thank you so much. If you need to go, feel free. Thank you. Thank you so much. I see some questions in a live chat regarding to my template and to some questions related to bundle. By the way, we already have some first sales of this bundle. So if you, after you buy it, feel free to ask some questions as well, because we want to cover it and we want to eventually give you the value that we try to put into it. So if you have any questions regarding to how to book a session, how to what's going to happen if I already have a plus plan, how to I don't know, maybe you want to refer it to somebody else, or how to use some ADHD templates and how to find them, just let me know and I will try to answer them. But there is one more question that I wanted to cover is about how to create my own template. So it's a great question, actually. So you can create my template in 2 ways. The first one is you can make it in My Planner, because if you want to use the same layout every week, so for example, this week you're going to have this layout, the next week, if you want to change it, what you're going to do is you're going to create, you will be able to change your planner. And it works like this. So you can change it. Let me show it to you real quick again. So you are switching to another period, and to change the layout, you're gonna press this button, change it. The message here says that we will clear on all the content that you added before, because it's your template now. So we're gonna remove all the contents that you added before, except of tasks. So all tasks will remain simply because we are not only collecting them in the My Planner, we also collect them in here, which is the main place for tasks. and in here as well. So they're not gonna disappear if you decide to change your template and add a new one. So again, you're gonna press the button to change it. You're gonna change it, and eventually you can start from your page, for example, from scratch, let's say, and you can build any structure you want. Or on another hand, you can choose any templates that we are offering specifically for My Planner. So this is the first answer, how to create your specific template for My Planner. The other one is how to create a template just for your personal regular workbook. Here is the case. You're making something like this. You are creating a new tab. You are adding some content. You might want to add anything else. I don't know, some Kanban board, let's say, just to navigate quickly between your tasks. If you want to save it as a template, just press on 3 dots, and in this menu you're gonna have an option to save as a template. This is a paid option, but still, if you want to save it, it's available on the cheapest xTiles plan. And now you can find this project as a template in My Template gallery, in My Template. So you're gonna have Alaska trip, and every time, for example, if you want to create a new workbook, if you want to implement your template, you just go into your library, choosing My Templates, and choosing this one. And that's all. That's how to create the templates inside of xTiles. Let me check if there is any other questions in here. Oh, I see people are starting to leave. Well, will be there a way to create a template for My Planner? Is there estimated time? So again, we are working on this, but again, let me show it to you real quick. This is my case, for example. I have my planner, right? And I have my week. Here it is. And this is me who created the structure for this one. So if I want to use the same layout, that's what I'm gonna do. I will just use it for every next week, and it will just be duplicated. If you are asking about how to create a template for the whole planner, and maybe to sell it or advise it to somebody else or reuse it, it doesn't work like this so far. We are going to work on this a little bit to give you this opportunity to make a whole template for the whole workbook, for the whole My Planner. But so far it just worked like this. So you have a pre-built structure. If you want to change the layout for a particular page, that's how you can do this. There is no way so far to create a template for the whole My Planner. I think, guys, you are leaving. Let me check what other questions we might have here. It's so tough to work without other coaches. They gave me a huge support, actually, because they answered so many questions and they supported so much. Let me check what else we might have. Great question from Robert Parker about will there be a setting about actually time blocking. So yes, guys, we are working on time blocking right now, and I assume you're gonna have this update, if not this week, probably next week. But what it will give you, it will give an opportunity in your calendar to create actually time blocks for each specific tasks, let's say. So there will be a way how you can click and drop something to book a specific time for your tasks. So time blocking will be available very soon. Thank you so much for asking this. I loaded my planner. Okay, I'm just getting some feedback again. Guys, any other questions? Oh, great question, guys. I see that in my case, the layout does not carry over the next week or days or something like this. That's maybe a question that you have, that we need to ask support team, because we make some update recently. So before it was like this, that every time when you need to create a new period, a week, months, a day, doesn't matter, we were offering you two options. The first one is to start from continue with the previous layout, and the next one is to choose a new layout. But what we see from our feedbacks that it was so irritating for people, because 99% of people just want to use the same layout every new time. So we removed this feature, and we now don't offer you to change the layout when you click to another period. Let me show it to you real quick. So it was here when we were switching between, let's say, between months. How it works now, we're just duplicating the same layout as it was here. We're just duplicating it for May, so we don't offer you anything else. But at the same time, again, if you want to change it, just press this button, press change, and make your layout. Choose something simple or choose some template. This one is still available, but we just removed this one additional step when we pushed you to choose a new layout every new week or every new day or every new month. It was so irritating. That's the feedbacks that we received. I look for ADHD template in free templates. Yes, guys. So some ADHD templates are also are also available in a free version. Of course, we are not limited so much, but some of them are available on the paid version. The difference is simple. There is no, some magic or something like this. The difference is just layout, design, how everything works, how everything connecting between each other. And something like this. So yeah. Anything else? Let me check it real quick. But there is a problem, is that the layout was not carrying over. So maybe this is, Willow, please ask this question, but just add some screenshot, or we would appreciate if you would add some, I don't know, some short video showing what exactly doesn't work. Because again, we made this update, maybe there is some issues or maybe even some bugs. So just report it, and we will fix it as soon as possible if there is a problem. My layout repeats, but if I customize it like an add a widget, for example, the part does not carry over into the next week. Again, let's work on it a little bit. I want everyone to understand how it works. So we use weekly, we use monthly. Let's start with daily, for example. So I'm going to choose anything here. I will add a new widget. This one, for example. What else I would like to add? I will embed our stream, by the way, just for fun. Maybe I would like to revisit it and see it every time. So I can play it right here and blah, blah, blah. It's available. So all good. I will change something else. For example, come on. So I'm changing my layout a little bit. What else would you like me to add here? Okay, I think that's enough. I customized something, so I added a widget. I added some embed. There's nothing specific else that I would like to add here. And now I will go to tomorrow. And what's gonna happen? I have my April here, and yes, I don't have my YouTube. Guys, you were right. You are right. This is something that doesn't work. So I expected my YouTube video will be played here. Let's check it out real quick if it will appear in a weekly template. Let's check it out, or let's just embed it like this. And if I want to go, so this week is already planned. This one is planned. This one is planned. Let's check out this one. Nothing here. Yep, guys, there is nothing here. Okay, we'll find out what to do with it, but thank you so much. Yep, I see that it doesn't, some widgets and some other contents just doesn't go over the next week. That's great. That's great that we find out it. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for feedback as well. I'm just reading the questions in a live chat that we would need to start with this practical part. But again, guys, for us, it was a new experience. And what we wanted to give in this webinar is we wanted to uh, combine this human support and xTiles as a tool, because I really believe in coaches who was together with us today, and they know so much about ADHD. They know something that usual people don't know, and that's the value. They know what is ADHD. They have ADHD themselves. They know how to work with it, and that's why we decided to connect you with them, because to listen some insights from them, to listen some practical advices. They also use xTiles, and they will also be able to help you a little bit with your questions if you will book some coaching sessions with them. But first of all, we wanted to give this kind of support, this human support that coaches can provide, because we can do this bi-weekly sessions and explain how to use xTiles. But again, we see that so many people are joining us and they have ADHD, or they have some things that make them seem things that they have ADHD. It's not about being necessary diagnosed with it. It's just when somebody cannot keep up with their work, with somebody cannot stay motivated for a long time, or procrastinated a lot, and we see so much feedbacks about it. So we just wanted to connect you with guys who know about this and who could share you with something else. But if you'd like to have some sessions like a Q&A after this one, or maybe some in-depth tutorial how to use xTiles, we can do this. It's not a problem. I have to leave. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you so much for all of your questions. I don't know how many questions we had today, but you were so much supportive, guys. It was a big pleasure for me to answer all of your questions. I apologize if I didn't answer something particular, but again, I'll try to cover it in our follow-up. I will send you follow-up with the offer as well, with this bundle, with answer for some most popular questions, and of course with some templates from the coaches who were with us today. Guys, thank you so much. That's all from me for today. It was exciting for me to talk for you. Let's keep in touch, and feel free to share any feedback, support in a live chat. We will try to answer for anybody there. Thank you so much. Strive with your ADHD. Everything's going to be okay. And hope to